The council chamber was silent, but it was not the silence of peace. It was the silence of contempt. Around a long black table sat 12 alien warlords, their bodies wrapped in armor that shimmered like liquid metal. Their eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, reflecting hunger and confidence. They had gathered to discuss a single subject: Earth. To them, Earth was nothing. A small blue world on the edge of the galaxy, a planet filled with a species that crawled upward from dirt and stone, still young, still foolish. Humanity was a curiosity, a mistake of evolution that had somehow survived longer than expected. The warlords saw Earth the way predators see a weak animal limping in the wild. They believed it was time to end the illusion of strength. One of the alien leaders leaned forward, his voice sharp and cold. Humans are fragile. They bleed too quickly. Their weapons are crude. Their fleets are scattered and small. They have no place in this galaxy. Another laughed, a harsh sound like grinding metal. For decades they bark, but they cannot bite. They copy scraps of our technology and think themselves clever. They are children, and children cannot stand against empires. A third raised his hand, silencing the chamber. His eyes narrowed. Then it is decided. We will march on Earth. We will tear down their cities, strip their oceans, and scatter their ashes across the stars. No one will remember them. Humanity will be a forgotten whisper. The warlords pounded the table in agreement. Their empires stretched across thousands of star systems. Their fleets darkened skies of conquered worlds. Against such power, one small planet had no chance, or so they believed. As the meeting ended, the chamber lights flickered. At first it was dismissed as a technical fault, but then a sound filled the room. A voice, clear and human, echoed through the air. The warlords froze. The voice did not shout, it did not beg. It spoke with calm certainty, as if the speaker already knew the outcome of the war. You speak of Earth as if it were broken, the voice said. You speak of humans as if they were weak. For a long time we allowed you to believe that. For a long time we listened, we watched, and we prepared. But today you will learn the truth. Earth does not kneel. Earth does not fade. And humanity does not die. The warlords glanced at one another, their armor buzzing with unease. No human could have breached their secure communication lines. Yet the voice was there, inside their chamber, inside their minds. The light steadied and the table's surface flickered alive. A projection appeared. It was not an alien, not a beast of war, but a human face. The figure wore no armor, no crown, no insignia of rank. He was dressed simply, his gaze steady, his expression cold. For centuries, the man continued, we let you see what we wished. You saw our small ships, our scattered fleets, our desperate battles. You thought we struggled and you laughed. But you never saw what was hidden. You never saw what waited below the surface, in the dark places of our world, in the silence of our skies. You believed Earth was weak because Earth wanted you to believe. A slow chill spread across the chamber. The projection leaned forward slightly, his voice lowering to a whisper that carried more weight than a roar. You think you are hunters, but you are prey. You think you will conquer Earth, but you will not even survive what comes next. The image faded. The lights returned to normal and the voice was gone. Yet the silence that followed was heavier than before. For the first time, the warlords felt doubt. Outside the chamber, in the endless black of space, movement stirred around Earth. In the depths of its oceans, shadows began to rise. Beneath mountains, deep hangars opened, and long-forgotten machines rumbled awake. Satellites that once looked like junk turned, aligning into patterns no alien intelligence had noticed before. Humanity had been waiting. Across Earth's continents, signals spread. In hidden bases, crews strapped into seats. Commanders issued orders that had been rehearsed in secret for generations. The illusion of weakness was ending. The mask was coming off. Earth had been silent too long. Now the silence broke with thunder. And as the first hidden fleet rose toward the stars, one truth became clear. The galaxy had underestimated humanity. It would never make that mistake again. Long before the broadcast that shook the alien council, humanity had already made its choice. Earth would not show its strength until the right moment. The world had been underestimated for centuries, and this was no accident. It was a plan, a secret carried in silence, hidden behind layers of deception. The first seeds of this plan were planted after humanity's earliest encounters with alien scouts. The galaxy thought those first meetings were accidents, random crashes of ships, broken fragments of technology falling into human hands. But history told a different story. The governments of Earth did not stumble blindly into the future. They listened. They studied. They learned what kind of universe waited beyond the stars. And they made a decision that would shape generations. Humanity would pretend to be weak. To the galaxy, Earth appeared chaotic, divided, unprepared. Nations fought each other. Economies collapsed, politics twisted into noise. On the surface, Earth seemed fractured, a place where humans could never unite. But beneath the surface, in the silence of hidden chambers and secret councils, a different Earth was being built. Deep underground, cities of steel stretched for miles, invisible to any eyes above. Beneath oceans, hangars as large as mountains slept in silence, holding fleets of ships that no alien spy ever reported. Space stations disguised as debris orbited far from view, gathering intelligence, waiting for the day they would reveal their true purpose. Every weakness humanity showed was carefully chosen. Wars were staged as distractions. Technologies were released slowly, and progress was always hidden under a layer of struggle. While the galaxy thought humanity was crawling, Earth was running in the shadows. The deception was not only physical, it was psychological. Human leaders knew that empires were arrogant, that they dismissed any species not already shining in the stars. They counted on it. Humanity turned its own chaos into a weapon, a mask that fooled even the most advanced observers. Generations of children were trained in secret academies, learning sciences far beyond what schools taught openly. Entire groups of engineers and scientists vanished from public records, moved into underground labs where their work was hidden from every eye. They built weapons the galaxy had never seen, weapons that combined stolen alien knowledge with human innovation. There were whispers of projects so advanced that even most of Earth never knew they existed. Energy weapons that could tear fleets apart with a single pulse, stealth technology that could hide entire cities, artificial intelligence that could calculate battles years before they were fought. These were not myths. They were real, buried in the silence of Earth's waiting. The galaxy thought humanity was loud, reckless, and unwise. They did not understand that the noise was a shield. Behind the noise, humanity was silent. Behind the chaos, there was unity. And behind weakness, there was strength so sharp it could cut an empire in half. For centuries, spies came and went. Alien scouts flew close to Earth, observing its wars, its struggles, its endless divisions. They returned to their masters with the same reports. Earth is fragile. Earth is distracted. Earth is not ready. And the empires believed it, because that was what they wanted to believe. But in the shadows of Earth, silence held power. When the projection spoke in the alien council, it was not only a declaration of war, it was the breaking of a mask carefully worn for centuries. Humanity had finally chosen its moment. Across Earth, the signs were already in motion. Old generals who had waited their entire lives for this command finally gave the signal. Families who had served in hidden fleets for generations whispered the words they had promised to keep secret. The time has come. Cities that seemed ordinary revealed doors that led miles underground. Highways disguised as roads opened to reveal launch platforms. Lakes drained to show hangars filled with ships. Mountains split open, releasing machines that had not seen sunlight for hundreds of years. And still, the galaxy did not know the scale of what was coming. For every fleet the aliens saw, there were 5 they did not. For every weapon tested in public, there were 10 hidden in vaults. For every scientist working openly, entire teams worked in silence. The truth was clear. Earth had never been weak. Earth had never been unprepared. Earth had been waiting for arrogance to blind the galaxy, waiting for empires to grow too confident, waiting for the moment when the hunters became prey. The man in the projection had spoken only a fraction of the truth. Humanity had allowed the galaxy to see fragments of itself, shadows of its strength. But the real Earth, the true Earth, was about to step into the light, and when it did, no empire would ever see humanity the same way again. Because the greatest weapon humanity ever created was not a ship, not a gun, not a fleet. It was the illusion of weakness, and now that illusion was gone. The alien armada arrived in silence. Hundreds of ships, black and massive, drifted into Earth's orbit like shadows blotting out the stars. Their hulls glowed faintly with alien markings, scars of wars fought on countless worlds. They moved with the calm arrogance of predators closing in on prey. From the ground, the night sky changed. Across continents, ordinary humans looked up and saw the black specks gathering in the heavens, each one larger than mountains. Fear spread, but there was no panic. Not this time. The world had waited too long for this moment. In the command centers hidden deep below Earth, voices echoed through the silence. Orders were spoken calm and steady. Generals who had trained their entire lives pressed buttons, unlocked codes, and awakened sleeping machines. The world above believed these places were myths, stories whispered about secret bunkers and invisible armies. But they were real, and now they stirred. Beneath the oceans, pressure doors groaned open. Massive shadows rose from the deep, water cascading off their armored hulls. They were not crude submarines. They were ships, warships designed in silence, hidden in darkness, and prepared for this very day. Their engines lit the sea with pale fire as they rose toward the sky. In the mountains, hidden launch silos split apart, stone crumbling away to reveal platforms of steel. Sleek ships, their wings folded, roared into the sky, their engines shaking valleys and shattering ice peaks. From deserts, from jungles, from secret hangars buried beneath cities, humanity's fleets rose together like a storm breaking free. The alien commanders watched from orbit. At first, they did not understand what they were seeing. The small fleets they expected were not appearing. Instead, hundreds of massive warships surged upward. Ships that should not exist. Ships built with technology they never believed Earth could possess. The first alien commander to break the silence spoke with disbelief. Impossible. This cannot be Earth. But it was. Human warships cut through the atmosphere, their black hulls gleaming with strange, sharp designs. They carried weapons the aliens had never seen. Weapons that hummed with deadly energy. They did not wait for permission. They did not hold their fire. Humanity's fleets opened fire the moment they touched the edge of space. The sky lit up. Beams of energy tore across the void, striking alien ships before they could even form a line. Explosions bloomed like suns lighting the dark. Alien hulls cracked open, spilling burning fragments toward the Earth below. For the first time, the predators felt what it was to be hunted. Inside the human ships, crews worked with terrifying precision. Pilots spoke calmly as they weaved through alien fire. Gunners tracked targets with unshaking hands. Commanders issued orders like they had practiced 1,000 times before. It was not chaos. It was not desperation. It was war, calculated and cold. The aliens fought back, their weapons carving the sky, their cannons pounding Earth's fleets. Ships exploded on both sides, burning wrecks tumbling into oceans and deserts. But for every human ship destroyed, 2 more rose to take its place. For every strike the aliens delivered, Earth answered with greater fury. The battle stretched across the heavens. From cities below, people watched the sky burn with fire and light. To them, it looked like stars were dying. But they did not run. They did not hide. For the first time, humanity was not helpless. For the first time, they were the storm. One alien commander screamed into his communicator, ordering his fleet to regroup, to push harder, to crush the humans quickly. But the humans did not give them time. Hidden weapons activated. Satellites long disguised as space junk turned toward the enemy, firing beams that cut ships in half. Human stealth craft uncloaked in the middle of alien formations, unleashing torpedoes that shattered flagships into glowing debris. The aliens had expected an easy hunt. What they faced instead was fury. Fury crafted in silence, sharpened through centuries of patience. Aboard one human flagship, a commander stood at the center of his bridge. His face was lit by the glow of tactical maps, his voice calm as he spoke to his crew. For generations they called us weak. Today we show them what weakness truly is. And with those words, Earth's fleet surged forward, tearing through the enemy lines. The aliens were not only losing ships, they were losing control. Their formations broke apart, their confidence shattered. Fear spread through their ranks, a fear they had never felt before. This was not a war of conquest anymore. This was survival. The first contact between Earth and the galaxy was not with words, not with treaties, not with submission. It was with fire. It was with fury. And as the last light of burning ships fell through the atmosphere, humanity's secret was no longer hidden. Earth had revealed its power. The galaxy would never forget. The battle for Earth was not the end. It was only the beginning. When the alien armada retreated, broken and bleeding, the galaxy expected humanity to pause. They thought Earth would be content with survival. with proving that it could defend itself. But humanity had never been a species that stopped at survival. Survival was only the first step. In the days after the first battle, silence fell over Earth. The skies cleared, debris drifted in orbit, and the fires of fallen ships burned out in oceans and deserts. The world mourned its dead, but mourning did not weaken resolve. Instead, it sharpened it. Humanity did not see the battle as a victory. They saw it as a warning. The galaxy would come again, stronger, with more fleets, more weapons. Waiting meant death. So Earth chose not to wait. Orders were given. Codes long locked in vaults were opened. Secret councils that had guided Earth's hidden rise now revealed the second phase of their plan. Humanity would not only defend, it would strike back. And when humanity strikes, it does not strike softly. Fleets that had once risen to defend Earth now turned outward, their engines glowing as they pushed beyond the solar system. Stealth ships left first, vanishing into the black, carrying scouts and spies into alien space. They carried no banners, no colors, only silence. Behind them, the warships followed. Not in one fleet, but in dozens, splitting into shadows that would cut across the galaxy in every direction. The alien empires were vast, but they were vulnerable. Their supply lines stretched across light years. Their fleets were powerful, but slow. Their pride blinded them to small wounds that could bleed an empire dry. Humanity had studied their enemies for centuries, and now those studies became strategies. The first strikes came quickly. In the outer colonies of the alien warlords, mining stations suddenly went dark. Communication relays burned in silence. Convoys carrying fuel and weapons vanished, torn apart by unseen attackers. At first, the empires dismissed it as rebellion, pirates, or technical failure. But the pattern grew too sharp, too deliberate. Then the whispers began. Whispers of human ships appearing without warning, striking with precision, and vanishing before fleets could respond. Whispers of weapons that tore through shields, of bombs that silenced entire stations in seconds. Whispers that Earth had not been a weak planet, but a predator waiting in the dark. The galaxy had laughed at humanity once. Now it whispered in fear. In one colony world, alien governors watched in horror as human dropships fell from the sky. They had expected crude machines, slow and clumsy. Instead, sleek black craft descended like arrows, their hulls glowing with fire. Human soldiers poured out, silent and efficient. They did not waste words, they did not celebrate. They moved with purpose, cutting through defenses, disabling command centers, and vanishing back into the sky before reinforcements could arrive. The colony was not destroyed, it was humiliated. That was Earth's strategy. Not only to win, but to make the galaxy feel small. To make the mighty empires understand that humans could reach them anywhere at any time. The alien warlords grew desperate. Fleets were redirected, systems fortified, but the more they spread their forces, the weaker they became. Humanity struck where they least expected, then disappeared into the dark. Each strike cut deeper. Each wound weakened the giants. On one flagship, an alien commander screamed in rage. His fleets had been shattered by enemies who never gave him a fair fight. "They are savages. They are shadows," he roared. But the truth was worse. Humanity was not savage. Humanity was precise, cold, patient. Aboard human ships, soldiers fought with a grim resolve. They did not fight for conquest. They did not fight for riches. They fought for survival, and survival made them unstoppable. Each battle hardened them further. Each victory fueled the next. Humanity had always been underestimated, and now that underestimation became their deadliest weapon. The galaxy began to understand something terrifying. Humans did not fear death the way other species did. They carried their losses as fuel. For every soldier who fell, 10 rose to take his place. For every ship destroyed, another was waiting in silence. They fought not as individuals, not as fractured nations, but as one world, united by fury, united by survival. On Earth, the Hidden Council spoke a single phrase again and again: "We will not wait for the storm. We will be the storm." And the storm spread. World after world learned the name of Earth not as a victim, not as prey, but as a force that could not be ignored. The alien empires that had mocked humanity now saw their borders bleed, their fleets scatter, their pride crumble. They had believed they were unshakable. Now they trembled in their own halls, because humanity was no longer defending. Humanity was striking back. And when humans strike back, they strike to win. The galaxy had seen wars before. Empires had risen and fallen. Worlds had burned and fleets had vanished in the silence of space. But nothing in living memory compared to what humanity now unleashed. At first, the alien empires believed Earth's victories were luck. Surprise, deception, clever ambushes. But when the attacks did not stop, when the strikes grew larger, sharper, and more devastating, the truth could no longer be denied. This was not chaos. This was not desperation. This was design. And then came the revelation. For decades, the galaxy had watched Earth as a fractured world. Nations bickered, armies clashed, leaders shouted across borders. It was an image carefully crafted, carefully maintained. But that illusion cracked when alien spies finally saw something they were never meant to see. Earth was united, not in public, not in the open, but in the shadows. For over 100 years, every nation, every people, every leader had sworn to a single command. A hidden council, unknown to most of Earth itself, had woven humanity into one body, one will. Wars were staged. Conflicts were performed. The world above had been a stage, while below the stage, humanity prepared. Now the mask was gone. The fleets rising from Earth were not scattered ships from rival nations. They were one fleet, born of every culture, built by every hand, fueled by every sacrifice. The galaxy had mocked Earth for being small, but it forgot that small worlds gave birth to unity, or extinction. Humanity chose unity, and unity gave them power beyond measure. The alien warlords realized this truth too late. By the time their spies returned with the revelation, their borders were already bleeding. Their fleets were already burning. Humanity's armadas spread across space like fire, leaping from one forest to another, unstoppable once it began. Alien propaganda tried to paint humans as savages, as reckless destroyers. But even in their rage, humanity remained precise. They did not waste strikes. They did not burn worlds without purpose. Every attack was chosen to break the backbone of empires, to rip the heart from their pride. One empire, proud and ancient, watched in horror as its supply lines collapsed in weeks. A dozen colonies went dark, their governors vanished, their fleets shattered. It had taken humanity centuries to prepare, but only days to reduce an empire to silence. And still, the humans pressed forward. In the war rooms of Earth, the hidden council spoke without hesitation. They will never stop. If we wait, if we only defend, they will come again and again. To survive, we must do more than resist. We must erase the threat at its root. The order was given.
Humanity declared total war. From that moment, the strategy changed.
No longer were humans shadows striking in the dark. Now they marched openly, fleets forming in massive armadas, banners raised, weapons burning. The galaxy watched as Earth announced itself not as prey, not as victim, but as conqueror. The humans spoke one message to the stars. You came to break us. Now we come to end you. Entire alien systems trembled under the weight of that promise. The battles grew larger, deadlier. Alien warlords gathered their fleets in desperation, throwing everything they had into the storm. But the storm did not break. Humanity cut through their lines, tore apart their strongholds, and silenced their thrones. Alien leaders who once laughed at Earth now begged for mercy. But humanity had no mercy left to give. Too many graves lay behind them. Too many fires had burned on their soil. And yet the most terrifying part was not the weapons or the fleets. It was the will. Humans fought with a fire that no other species could understand. They fought not for glory, not for empire, not for greed. They fought because their survival demanded it, because their history had shaped them into something unbreakable. The galaxy saw it in their eyes, a species that had endured plagues, wars, and endless struggle on their small world. A species that had always risen again no matter how often it fell. Now that will was turned outward, and no empire could match it. In one final council meeting, as alien leaders whispered in fear, the human projection returned. His face was calm, his words steady, his tone cold. You believed Earth was a candle in the storm. You believed we would fade. But you forgot storms end, candles burn, and when all is dark, fire spreads. We are that fire. We are humanity. And from this day, the galaxy will never again speak of us as weak. The image faded, but the words lingered. The war raged on, but the outcome was already written. Humanity had revealed its true face. It had shown the galaxy that weakness had been an illusion, that silence had been a weapon, and that patience was deadlier than any fleet. The predators had hunted Earth. Now the hunters were hunted, and the galaxy finally understood. Humanity had not only survived, humanity had risen.